Hello. I want to thank you for having interest in environmental and ecological engineering and for listening to today's video. My name is Tammi Thayer. I'm the Associate Director of Advising within the Environmental and Ecological Engineering area, and I'll be doing today's presentation talking about the Division of Environmental and Ecological Engineering. As I go through these slides, first I want to point out that we have a QR code. We have this in a couple of locations. So if you do have interest and want to learn more, I would really encourage you to snap that and go out to our website and investigate. I want to kind of talk a little bit about what environmental and ecological engineering is. That's a mouthful to say. And so within our program, we call ourselves EEE. So hopefully you're familiar with that term. And I just want to clarify, within EEE, we have one degree program, one major that we offer, and it focuses on environmental and ecological engineering. We don't have two different separate tracks, so you do not have to choose between environmental or ecological. Those concepts, the content, is integrated throughout our curriculum and our coursework. So I'm going to start focusing on curriculum opportunities and attributes of our program. And so this slide looks at what curriculum options we offer to students at the undergraduate level. Today's presentation is primarily going to be focusing on the BS degree program, but we do also offer a EEE minor and a combined degree program. First, I'm going to begin with the BS. It requires 128 credits, and that's very achievable within a standard 4-year plan of study. And then looking at the EEE minor, we require 17 to 18 credits, depending on the course requirements that you choose to take. There's 4 required courses and then 2 selectives that students get to choose. For the minor, that oftentimes will dovetail very nicely into any of the other engineering disciplines. So I understand with the number of students that are viewing this presentation, probably not all of you are going to come into the undergraduate program. But you're probably watching this video because you have a strong interest in environmental initiatives. It's very important for all engineers to have some basic understanding of environmental practices and how their designs as an engineer may impact the environment. And so if you do have an environmental interest, if that's something that intrigues you, or you're concerned about how you might impact the environment in your future work as an engineer, consider our minor. It's very popular with some of the disciplines, but really, as I said earlier, it incorporates well that the 4 required courses for the minor, some of those courses oftentimes can be used as technical electives in your primary degree program, as well as our 2 selectives that we offer. You can do EEE options, but there are other course opportunities in some of the other disciplines that kind of interface with environmental topics. So sometimes you can use coursework from your primary degree in those requirements as well. Now I'm going to focus here on the combined degree program, and that is essentially a 4+1, if you've heard of that term before. Students will seek admission to the program at the conclusion of their junior year. And if admitted, you then work with your advisor in your senior terms to be able to dovetail in 500 level courses that will help you complete your BS requirements, but that are also eligible to be used towards the master's in EEE. You can double count those credits. Up to 12 credits can be double counted, and that is kind of the carrot for this combined degree program, that you get to double count some credits. You have to have a 3.25 GPA to be eligible to apply. So at the end of your junior year, hit that mark, and then if admitted, you have to maintain the 3.25 GPA throughout the duration of your senior terms as well. If you're on the fence and you're kind of thinking about a number of engineering disciplines for your BS, I really recommend that you go out to this URL that you see at the bottom of this slide. That is a curriculums map page. There's very similar curriculum maps for all of the disciplines showing the requirements. So it's very easy to kind of compare and contrast how disciplines maybe are similar in their requirements and see where there are differences. Drill down into those course requirements, see what intrigues you, what interests you, so that you can kind of get a visual of what courses you would be doing as a sophomore, junior, and senior to be help you make that final decision. This slide focuses primarily on what we call our EEE profile or points of pride for our program. First off, I want to point out that we are ABET accredited specifically in environmental engineering. Here within the College of Engineering at Purdue, all of our programs, almost all of them, are ABET accredited, but they're in a particular discipline. And so for our program, we are accredited in environmental engineering. We're the only major within the college that has that designation. That affords us the opportunity that as students get into our curriculum, very quickly at the sophomore level, you start into environmental content courses and you're able to focus on those throughout the curriculum. You can garner nearly 45 credits of focus in environmental content that way. There are other programs in engineering that have what I call environmental flavor, maybe concentration or a focus, but that's only going to be maybe 9 to 15 credits at most. So if environmental engineering is really your passion point, and that's where you want the primary focus of your career to be at, this curriculum could very well be the best fit for you so that you really have quite a breadth and concentration into environmental topics. Moving on to the second bullet, our undergraduate program is currently ranked 12th in environmental engineering programs. That's 2024 U.S. News and World Report information. Our enrollment, our census count in fall of 2023 was 177 undergraduate students. We have about 45 to 50 students in our graduate program. So within the College of Engineering, we are a little bit on the smaller side. We're not the smallest, but 177 undergraduate students is a very good fit for our program. It kind of dovetails into this next bullet. As a smaller program, we have more of a community feel. Our students really focus on collaboration over competition, and I think that that's something that our students really enjoy about EEE, is that there is this smaller community feel. Generally, all of our sophomores know the sophomores, our juniors know the juniors. We have some student organization opportunities, and so a lot of times, the sophomores will get to know the seniors through those interactions. Likewise, we have a very good student to faculty ratio. And so our students very easily get to know the majority of our faculty. You'll have had almost all of them in a core course by the time you go to graduate, or you've heard them in a seminar, or they have been part of a student organization outside activity. So again, community is a big emphasis in our program. Likewise, I want to emphasize we are well over 50% female within our program. That's very different than probably what you would see in many of the other engineering disciplines. So that is something that we generally want to make known, and if that's something that excites you, hopefully you'll come be a part of our program. We have a flexible plan of study. We have 21 credits of EEE selective coursework that students get to choose based on their career interests. We do not have specific concentrations or prescribed tracks that students have to choose from. Within those 21 credits, and that's basically 7 courses that you get to choose, you have all of the course lists available to you, and you get to pick the ones that you feel best fit with your career objectives and what you want to do with your career long term. These are not the 7 easiest, not the 7 most popular or funnest courses. We really emphasize to students that they need to do selections based on their career plans. As a smaller program, we actually assign students to EEE faculty mentors. So not only will you get the opportunity to work with an academic advisor, such as myself, but you'll also work at least once a semester with a faculty member as well, so that we as a team can help develop your plan of study and what those selections are going to be to really best complement your long-term plans. And then ending, our 4-year graduation rate is just a tick above 92%. So if you're looking for a undergraduate experience where you know that you hopefully can get done in 4 years, do or die, that's a goal that you have. That's maybe perhaps a goal that your parents or your family have for you. 92% is a pretty good mark to ensure that you can get done in a fairly good time. I'm now going to kind of transition to what is EEE, where do EEEs work, where do they work, what do they do in that work. So it's very difficult to really define a discipline of engineering on one slide, but here I'm going to try to do that. Basically, EEEs, we are trying to develop and teach our students to protect human and environmental health while designing sustainable systems and technologies that are going to protect not only human health, but the health of our Earth. Common career pathways that our alumni go toward, there's 4 bullets here. The top 2 are really what we define as very traditional or classic environmental, focused primarily on water and watershed stewardship, pollution control, monitoring and remediation. The last 2 bullets are more within a zone that we classify as industrial sustainability. That is looking at sustainability of the built environment, looking at manufacturing efficiencies, looking at production processes to make them more environmentally friendly, where there is less negative waste stream going into the environment, maybe reusing, repurposing some byproducts of a manufacturing process. And that's really kind of the modern evolving side of environmental engineering, and where that is heading in the future is really having that sustainability focus. This slide kind of depicts where EEEs tend to work. This is national data, so this is not just Purdue alumni and where they're working, but within the US where environmental engineers tend to work. I want to point out, I had the misnomer as I came into the EEE program that primarily environmental engineers worked in the public sector. For example, at the federal level, at the EPA, at the state level, regulatory boards, things of that nature. At the local level, maybe working in a county office, but that's only a quarter of where environmental engineers tend to work. 75% are out in private, and that tends to be a pretty even split between your traditional environmental consulting firms versus more manufacturing or industry-based work. What we say within EEE, environmental engineers can work at any type of production manufacturing firm. Any company that produces something and is putting that out into the environment, they're impacting the environment with their production process. And so they need either an environmental engineering sector or an environmental and health safety division to work on regulations and things of that nature. So if you like the idea that you can work at some very large firms, multinational, maybe start your career at a smaller company such as a consulting firm, but bounce around, do different things within your career, that is something that EEEs really can do fairly easily. And so I think that's, again, another thing that our students like and find attractive within our program is that there are opportunities to do a lot of different types of work at a lot of different types of companies. This slide focuses on EEE jobs, and there's two different bullet points here. The first one focuses on EEE Purdue starting salary average. So this data is from our EEE senior exit survey that was collected in May of 2022. And the Purdue EEE starting salary average was $67,300. Then that second bullet is looking at national data. That is from the 2022 Bureau of Labor Statistics. And if you'd like, you can just Google that and look at different engineering disciplines as well. This is specifically for environmental engineers, looking at all career levels. So not only just beginners, but this also includes those folks who have been in their career for a while, those who are even nearing retirement age. And the national average was $96,530 for 2022. That is very much in keeping, if you do go out and Google, very much within the range that you see other engineering disciplines as well. So it gives you a good feel of where you might start out in your career in terms of your earning power versus where you would hopefully be, a few years into your career. Now, these next couple of slides, I kind of focus on where EEEs either go to work, where they might serve in their communities, or where they go on to do higher learning. So there's a lot of words here. It's more for shock and awe to give you a basic feel that there are numerous opportunities. These slides they're not comprehensive, but I kind of have them in a couple different categories. This first one is consulting and engineering services. That honestly is where the bulk of our alumni have been going in recent years. And so hopefully some of these company names, you may not recognize all of them, but hopefully some of them do stand out to you that you kind of recognize and, oh yeah, I've heard of that company, and you at least get a feel for, what you might be doing or where you might be heading within your career. The second column is focused on more that manufacturing, industrial side of EEE or perhaps construction. Again, not a comprehensive list, but it just gives you an idea and a feel of what type of companies you could go on and work for within your career. I'll pause for just a few more seconds so that you can kind of read through this. And now I'm going to move on to the next slide, very similar, but these categories focus on more that public that we saw in that earlier graph, which is the government and service side of EEE. So you'll notice, like for example, the EPA is listed on here. Top bullet is IDEM, the Indiana Department of Environmental Management. So that's the state of Indiana's regulatory board, very similar to the EPA, but just at the state level. The bottom couple of bullets that you see there, the AmeriCorps and Peace Corps, that's more the service piece in this column. We do have a number of students who really want to be boots on the ground, perhaps want to work abroad, working and helping communities in third world nations that are really just needing assistance in from engineers and helping incorporate ways to have better, easier access, more economical access to basic human needs, such as, clean running water, things of that nature. We do have students who have a goal to go into the Peace Corps, for example. And so if that's something that you have tossed around as an idea for yourself, EEE could very well be a good pathway for that. This last column, we're looking at graduate programs. You'll notice Purdue University is listed on here. We'd love to have students stick around and do their master's or PhD within EEE at Purdue. But Purdue Engineering, it's a good springboard to get you onto other comparable good places for higher education. And so we've had students graduate from EEE and go on to Duke, Johns Hopkins, Stanford, UC Berkeley. So again, if you came to Purdue and you have a goal that you want to get a higher degree, such as a master's or a PhD, think about Purdue. Think about our combined degree program, but you definitely also have good opportunities ahead for you as well if you want to go elsewhere. Now I'm going to transition into looking more at experiential opportunities at the undergraduate level. If you are interested in being active here as an undergraduate student, you want to be involved in design teams, or you want to be in active learning types of classes. Hopefully some of these listed here, EPICS, VIP, hopefully these are familiar to you. If not, EPICS is the Engineering Projects and Community Service. There are EEE opportunities for you to get involved there. Likewise, VIP is the Vertically Integrated Projects Program, and you'd have opportunities there. SURF is Purdue's Summer Undergraduate Research Fellowship, and each summer we have faculty who sponsor environmental-focused opportunities for that. You do have to apply to the SURF program, and you have to have a 3.0 GPA to be eligible. It's highly competitive, but hopefully if you're wanting to get involved in undergraduate research, that is a great pipeline for Purdue students to apply, see if they can be connected to a faculty member to assist them with their research through this summer. It's basically like a full-time job. You're doing research work around 40 hours a week. So especially if you have thoughts that you either want to go into a career that is more research-based, or go on to at least get your master's or PhD, and you know that you kind of have to develop those skills, that's a good pipeline. Think about that. These last two bullets are specific to EEE. Our EEE 498 course is our dedicated undergraduate research course. If you connect with a faculty member and are going to be doing research for them, basically there's a proposal process that you would submit for our EEE 498 course, and through that your proposal is reviewed, and if approved, you can have a course specifically developed and designed by you and the faculty member. It'll go onto your transcript. We will count up to 3 credits towards degree requirements. And it's nice to have that transcripted course specific to you, with the title that you got to choose based on what your focus of the research is, and that's sitting there on your transcript. Moving on to EEE 480, we have a year-long senior design capstone that's required. EEE 480-01 is in the fall, and then EEE 480-02 is in the spring. All of our students go through our year-long senior capstone. Starts in August, ends in April, and with that, you are actually working with fellow classmates, normally in a team of maybe 3 to 5, depending on our class size that year, and you are connected with a real environmental engineering project and a real client. And so you would actually be working with that client August through April on that real environmental issue. And oftentimes these are companies, these are organizations, that have come to Purdue and sought out assistance with an environmental issue that they need to have addressed within their company or their organization. And they're kind of looking for, cheap labor. But it gives you the opportunity as a senior to connect and really have that comprehensive into your program where you're testing all of the skills that you have learned while you were in EEE and, dialoguing, interacting with that client. One of the things that we say about our senior capstone program, because that is year long, if heaven forbid you never do research, you never get a summer internship, you never co-op, you will have experience, real world experience through that required course. You can put that on your resume. You can talk about what you learned from that in your interviews as you go on to try to find permanent placement with a company. And so it's something that's integrated, built into our program that is ideal. Now I'm going to talk about study abroad opportunities within the College of Engineering. Generally, there are opportunities for you to go abroad, no matter what discipline you're in. And generally, so we have engineers that we recommend you go your junior year. We do have a couple of pre-planned, or what I call canned programs for EEE students. We have connected with University of Canterbury in New Zealand and University of New South Wales in Australia. What's nice about those programs, they both have excellent environmental programs. They also speak English. So if you know that you want to go abroad for a full fall or a full spring, but you don't necessarily have a foreign language that you can rely on or that you want to build on and go abroad, these are very streamlined programs. And we've kind of identified courses that you can shop through to meet your needs when you go study abroad. We're not lockstep to where if you tell me you're going fall of your junior year that I give you a list of, okay, these are the 5 classes you're doing, there's no choice. Engineers here at Purdue, oftentimes you guys come in with a lot of dual credit, test out credit, AP credit. And so you're ahead in math, you're done with your gen eds. Maybe you're planning a special minor or a certificate program. And so every student is unique and individual. And that's one of the nice things about EEE, and especially with our study abroad program, is that we can work individually with you to identify courses that are going to best meet your needs, keep you progressing towards requirements that you have, and not delay time to graduation. And so we can work with you. Moving on to the next bullet, if New Zealand or Australia is not for you, we have had students who have studied in Brazil, Germany, Ireland, Singapore, Spain, Switzerland. So these are other engineering or science-based programs that you can go, piggyback on, go to those destinations. And so there's opportunities there. And again, we'll work with you as an individual. There is a URL there at the bottom of the slide if you want to investigate and take a little bit deeper dive and look at details there. And now I'm going to focus on student organizations. So you've probably heard that there are over 1,000 student organizations here at Purdue. One of the things that we commonly hear from employers that are coming to recruit our students is that you are very well equipped on the technical side. You know your stuff and you're very employable, but they want you to develop soft skills. And this is an emphasis that I kind of really tout, that students need to get involved in student organizations. As a freshman or a sophomore, you're eligible to get involved in these, and it helps you to develop friendships, helps you to kind of connect to Purdue and make Purdue home away from home. But likewise, to get you involved in maybe an activity that is more academic focused, I list a few of our green type of student organizations here at Purdue. Society of Environmental and Ecological Engineers, or SEEE, is specifically for either EEE majors or minors. So if you think that you're going to target the major or minor, you can actually join that SEEE organization as a freshman. But there's some other green type of orgs here as well. And so I recommend to students get involved, connect, but then also it's a way to build your resume. You're going to develop soft skills such as how you communicate with your teammates. You're maybe going to go out and do some outreach initiatives, and so you can put those activities onto your resume. Hopefully, as an upperclassman, a junior or senior, you're going to seek out an officer position, and so you'll develop leadership skills. These are, very easy ways that if you're intentional and get involved, that you can start developing that resume. So, we encourage that. That's my last slide of real contact. I am now going to move on to our contact information. If you still have questions and want to learn more about EEE, I definitely encourage you snap that QR code there at the bottom of the screen. It'll take you right out to our undergraduate website. You can do more investigation there. There's a lot of good stuff to connect you to our plan of study. Maybe seeing some testimonials from current students or alumni. And then if you want to visit us, we are in the Potter Engineering Center, room 364. I definitely would recommend you can send emails to eee@purdue.edu. All undergraduate related questions get directed to my office, and hopefully we'll be seeing you in the near future, and we would love to have you in EEE. I thank you for your time and attention today.